All right, I think we're live. Oops, turn the sound off on my phone. How I do it? Just turn it down. Eight a.m. PM. I mean, I'm gonna say I'm on time for once. Although this wasn't scheduled, but it just happens to be 8 o'clock on the dot. Cheers. Not really here to do anything. Just to hang and have a beer. If anyone's up for it. Oh, I am here to do something actually. In a little bit. I'm gonna do a live tasting of the wine I forgot about that I bottled. I don't know what 2 years ago now. Yeah, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, March. So I'll probably drink that and fall over. The chat working? Oh, g'day, Tim. How you going? Huntsman Brewing. Oh, that chat is not turning up on my screen, and that was the idea of having my phone in front of me so I could see the chat in front of me. Scarlet. Neckett. Oh, no, that's not working. Test. Oh, it goes there. I just can't see the chat, which is silly. Where are you chatting? YouTube? Are you on YouTube, Tim? I'm not on anything else, am I? I'm not on Twitch or anything. I don't know. I haven't used this computer for a while. I don't know how it's set up. I'm assuming I'm only on YouTube, yes. Oh, yeah, I don't know why the chat isn't showing up on my phone. Oh, well, I'll just have to look over here. I put my phone here especially so I could read the chat right in front of me, but it's not working. Which is weird. I can chat in it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What's going on? How's New Zealand treating you? You probably have a gym session in the morning, yeah? Oh, by the way, if anyone's wondering, this is Juicy Banger, my Juicy Banger clone. That video will be up in the next week. The Brewery series video on the Juicy Banger from Blackman's. This is one of my copies. Yeah, no worries, Tim. I'm in bed with Tim. Fancy that, eh? I could do with getting in bed with someone's freezing out here. I've tried to make it look red so it makes me feel warmer, but it's not working. It's like ice. Oh, and hi, Marcy. How you going? Tim, go and make a cup of tea or something. I want to word with Marcy. It's weird doing this and not streaming without music blaring in my ears, and it's quiet. Juicy Banger. I want to talk to Marcy about a Juicy Banger. Yes, it is Juicy Banger. It is, if you've seen it in the shops, it's this one. I actually don't like the new can design. I preferred the old one better, but that's the beer we're going to make. And it came 30th out of the top 100 beers this year in the whole of Australia. And they don't get much of a distribution at all. So to get that is unbelievable. And it was the top. I think it was the top. I think they put it under a lager or a pilsner or something, a hoppy lager, or I can't remember what they put it under. But it was the top in its section, I believe. So that's a good score. Thanks to Ren. I tried to catch up with him on Sunday, but he wasn't there. We went to the Blackman's Brewery on Sunday. Took my daughter to a Taylor Swift afternoon there. It's amazing what you put up with for a couple of decent beers. Yeah, you probably won't have seen it there. It's pretty small distribution even in Melbourne. Although it's bigger now. It is in Dan Murphy's here. I don't know if it would be in all Dan Murphy's around the country. Probably not. But as with all these sort of beers, if you are running out to buy it, check the date on it. Try and get them fresh. I don't know what the date on this one is. It was packaged in 14th of January 2024. Although this isn't that. This is my version. The same recipe, but I brewed this one. That's an old can. I was keeping that for the video. May are fading away. Kind of. Not really. Although I am under 100 kilos now. I guess that's a good thing, isn't it? 90. I was 98 when I got out of hospital, but then I couldn't do anything for 6 weeks. And I weighed myself the other day, I was 99, so. G'day, Nicholas. Need some good porters. There's not such thing as a good porter in my book. They're all shies and yes, I think I might have a porter. I have got a stout video I've been meaning to put out for ages, which is another brewery series one from Healesville. And that's a really good stout. It's not heavy at all though. It's like one of those stouts you can drink in summer. I've just got to finish the video for that. And I think I've done a couple already. I did one from, what was the one I did from Block and Tackle? I did, whoops, I mean to press that button. But yes, I do need to do more. There's a couple I've been saying I'm going to redo for a long time. My Black Metal IPA, which is more like a hoppy stout, I'm going to redo. And I haven't done videos for my really big beers, which is a bit silly. I haven't done my Imperial Stout that I brewed a few times. Just don't brew it very often because it lasts me so long. And I've done like a Live for Deuce, I don't know how you pronounce it, like a red Chimay, this kind of beer, but which is really good. That's I think that's about 9% in red. That's a good one too for winter. I meant to brew these earlier so they had a little bit of age on them, but with the hospital thing and that all went out the window. Where is it? I know I didn't want the YouTube studio on my channel. Yeah, there's a Sir Thomas Porter. That's quite a nice porter from Block and Tackle. And there's a Swash beer doesn't really count, does it? I guess they're the only two I've done in the brewery series that are dark. But I have got that other one. What's the brewery called? I'm a shocker. I can't remember the name of the brewery. Been there heaps of times. Just haven't been down to Healesville for a while. Should know it. Oh, Watts River Brewing. They're Watts River Stout. I've got the recipe for that too. I've brewed it. All I've got to do is edit the video. Have I ever made a milk stout? Yeah, I have made a milk stout. Oh, g'day, Vic. How you going? I don't think I did a video for it. Oh, it was back in the days when I wasn't really doing full recipe videos where I'd sort of brew one and be drinking it on camera. But yeah, I've been good. How are you? I just saw 17. It's over there, the 17 Brew Crew empty IPA bottle still. Can't reach it at the moment. And the trouble with the milk stout, I can't have lactose. But it doesn't mean I can't brew one still. even if it's a small batch. Or I, swap it out with. I just don't put it in, and you can put it in. G'day to Austria. I was going to try and pronounce your name then, but I haven't got a clue, I'm afraid. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but g'day. How you going? If I could get the chat on here, I'd be really happy. Try again. Live chat. Aha, now it's working. Now it's working. Good. Doesn't matter if you can see it there. How's Austria this time of year? I guess it's morning or something over there, is it? Or daytime, or I don't know. 17. The bottle is just there. If I could. It's in the dark though. You're not going to be able to see it even if I pick up the camera and move it. Okay, I just can't reach it. I've packed bicycles and things in the way. It's a manual. I'm going to name my channel after Fire, Ember, Smoke. Oh, okay, cool. Now I get it. Fire, Ember, Smoke. I cooked brisket last night. It is freezing. I overdone it a bit. My thermometer was saying it was all right, but I got it out. It's a little bit dry. Mustn't have been enough fat in it. Tastes good though. Got a good bark on it. Hang on. Might even be. That's one thing I don't do. Every time I've been smoking meat. I don't know how long, 10 years now or something, and I video stuff, and I never put it out. I do cooking these. I got my chili sauces I've been making for decades, and I record them every couple of years ago. I'll record it, and then I never put the video out. Yeah, there's a nice black brisket that's a bit hard to see that I cooked last night. That way. Well, that like a burnt bit of brick. It's good though. It's good. Nice bit of bark. Now I've got to find that chat that I had before that I lost. I can't afford expensive meat though. I just get the cheap stuff from the supermarkets, you know. Oh, I did an oyster stout too. I forgot about that one. I've been doing these a long time. I forget what I've done. And now the chat stopped again. Son of a... Try again. No, I didn't wrap it this time. No. I've been wrapping them lately. I should have. It stalled for a long time. There was a bit of a problem. I ran out of gas halfway through the cook too, which probably didn't help. I don't know how long it was. I mean, I went out there and the barbie was still pretty warm, but I don't know how long I'd been out of gas. So, yeah, I haven't done that for a long time, but sometimes it happens, doesn't it? You don't know. I didn't weigh my gas bottle before I started. I'm having real troubles with the chat on my phone for some reason. I'd like to visit Lismore. It probably won't be anytime soon. But yeah, they did send me Beck sent me a couple of shirts. It just isn't working. Good go, John. How you going? I'd go and pull the brisket out and show you, but because of that bark, you end up with black all over you. And I had it for dinner. It was good. I'm still dreaming. It's just my phone playing games. Yeah, stupid phone. Try again. I used Hickory. I'd gone off Hickory for a while. I was been using Apple and Cherry, and even just Redwood or whatever the Australian stuff you buy for your barbie. A lot of the time, that's good to smoke with. I'm just using a cabinet. I've tried a ton of them. As usual, I started doing the snake method in a Weber style barbie. Mine's not a Weber; it's a German one that's a little bit bigger than a Weber, but the same sort of thing. And then I do all sorts of different cooks in that, and then I went on to this bigger one, and tried using the chunk for a while, or what do you call it? I've forgotten all the trendy terms that people use, and I only barbecue in Celsius. That's why I haven't put videos out. And I did all that, and then because I was stay-at-home dad, once we had two kids, said I'm not stuffing around anymore, and we got a cheap one at Aldi, a gas one, and a cabinet, and I use that most of the time now. And I look, maybe when the kids are old and left the house, I might go back to having to tend the barbecue all the time. But the gas one just is too. It just works well, and I've also attached a cold smoker, a pellet cold smoker to the side of it. It's only a tiny thing. It's a Hark, a rebadged Hark, but Audi sold them for heaps cheaper. Uh, and so I can do cold smoking, or I usually use chunks of wood, but if I'm lazy and I don't want to use chunks, I can just put the pellet smoker on and use the heat from the cabinet, the gas cabinet. And they taste bloody good. I've tasted a lot of barbecue and I'm satisfied with it. I don't know. You got to be pretty fussy to go, oh, it's not as good as this or it's not as good as that. I reckon you haven't learned how to use the particular one you've got. Oh, I forgot the microphones here. Um, if you can't get good meat out of them. The biggest trouble in Australia is buying good meat for a decent price. Because the good stuff's, the supposed good stuff is extremely expensive. Hang on. Get brewing your Jedi juice tomorrow. An alternative to Citra. I haven't looked at that recipe for ages. I thought most of that was Nelson. Is it? I looked at the recipe for a while. I don't even know where to find it. Oh, yeah, Jedi juice. Here we go. Where's the recipe? Recipes are here. It's May the 4th tomorrow. Oh, that's probably why you're doing it, is it? They're having Jedi Juice Day at Hop Nation tomorrow. Oh, it is Citra and Mosaic, Citra and Nelson. It's hard to replace Citra. What part of the world are you in? You can just tone it down a bit, yeah. Uh, Western, oh, you're in Australia. Although it's hard to get the trouble when you're trying to replace Citra is you want to get as fresh as hops as you can. And like I could give you, say, a substitute like Simcoe, but if you're buying them and they're 2 or 3 years old, then it's just not going to cut the mustard. But yeah, Simcoe would probably be a nice choice if you can get it. You could throw a little bit of Galaxy in. I wouldn't use probably as much Galaxy as they do Citra. I'd cut it down a bit. But something like Simcoe would be, because that would go well with the Nelson and go well with the Mosaic. But if you've just got to tone it down, it sounds like you have some, you just don't have enough. And that's okay. If you had to cut any down, where do I just have the recipe? I just had it in front of me then. I don't know which one you're doing. There's a few different ones I've put up there that are doing my particular one, which they're all very, very close to each other. They're all, mine's more based off their proper or their original one. Come on, put it in metric for me. Yeah, there's no harm in, look, you could cut. You could cut the Citra in half in each section if you wanted to. You know, I don't know how much you've got. It sounds like you've got some. But if you had anything, any sort of C hop, if you had hanging around, would be good. So if you cut the Citra in half, maybe just chuck in, you know, a little bit of Australian Cascade's really good this year, although you might have struggle getting this year's hops. But Australian Cascade's pretty good. Maybe even Eclipse, something like Eclipse. Eclipse would go well in it if you can get Australian. Well, you have to get Australian Eclipse, but oh no, these aren't for bittering, Vic. These are Whirlpool and dry hop. Really fruity. I don't know. They do, you know, all of these breweries change up the recipes. There's not many breweries, beers, as much as people think, that use exactly the same hops each time. They try to, but it doesn't often work that way. And many breweries, they'll start with a recipe, and then they realise the difficulty of getting. It's not only the being able to buy that actual hop, but it's buying it and it being good. Because you know they vary, and so often brewery will start with 1 or 2 hops in a beer, and if this goes onto their, you know, core range and they're brewing it a year after year, it's often by the time it gets, you know, 5 years down the track, there might be 5 different hops in it, and it's just so that if they can't get one or one of them's not up to scratch, the others stand up. And that's extremely common, way more common than people realise. The reason I use a lot of Citra in the Hop Nation thing, in the Jedi, because a lot of it's just Nelson, but it's all that thing to do with, which we didn't know at the time, but Citra, if you've heard of thiols and things, like Citra naturally releases its own. That's why it's just so good at being a dry hop and being late in beers and just giving that big burst of flavour, because it does naturally what a lot of people are paying a lot of money for fancy yeasts and fancy enzymes and things to do to other hops. But Citra virtually does it itself. more than any of the other hops do. Quiet in here. I'm used to streaming on a Saturday night where there's music blaring in my ears. Weird sitting in the garage, in the brewery. If you hear things start up, the fridge just started up over there, and the glycol's on over here, but I've turned up the hysteresis heaps, so it probably won't turn on, hopefully. I've got a brew just here. Oh, you might be able to see it if I go like that. Oh, that doesn't look dark there, does it? Just here, fermenting. That is the one. The secret's out, so I can't. One of the publications, this was supposed to be a very highly secret brew, but one of the reporters that was at the brew day spilled the beans on it, which they weren't supposed to do. What grains do you keep on here? Yeah, it is, Jex. How are you? What grades do I keep on hand? Not much these days. I used to store a lot, and then now I don't. And that was one, a lot went to waste. And two, I got really good advice from a probably one of the best maltsters in Australia, to not store. If you want good beers, your grain needs to be fresh, as just like any other ingredients. So I just try and have one bag of grain here, usually a Pilsner malt or an ale malt, and some Munich, and that's about it. While I say that, I've still got a ton of little bits of dark crystal on that, but I haven't put crystal malt in a beer for a long time. I guess if I do some stouts or whatever, I will be. But it'll either be Pilsner malt and Munich malt, or an ale malt and Munich malt. That's about it that I try and make sure I always have. Every now and then there'll be a little bit of chit malt or a little bit of carapils or something like that, just in case one of the brewery series recipes calls for it. And then I'll have a little bit, because I don't buy little bits. If I have to buy some, I'll buy 2 kilos because it's cheaper, or used to be, from Grain and Grape. And then I'll end up using that in, a couple of 100 grams in beers each recipe from then on until it runs out, and then I'll just stick to Munich in a single malt. No, I've been too sad to go into Grain and Grape. I've known John, and why is that? I've got 2 microphones going through there. That shouldn't be happening. And let me just mute that one. No, I had 2 there. I haven't got into Grain and Grape because it's too sad. I've been going there for well over 25 years, and known John. John's been very nice to me. He's just a great bloke, and I haven't gone in there. I'm too scared. Last time I went in there, his poor dog had just died. And because he usually comes down the stairs to see me when I go in the shop, and he hears me giving shit to the guys in there, and then his dog comes down. Last time I was in there, he comes down and goes, "Oh, my dog died," and he was really sad, and then I haven't been in there for a couple of months, and I was going to go in again, and now he's shut the shop. He's shutting the shop and retiring, and that. It's just a bit sad. So I haven't gone in. I've been a bit of a wuss. I'm thinking about it tomorrow morning. So no, I haven't got any bargains. I missed all the emails in the Facebook page. Somehow I missed it. I've got to stop doing that in front of the microphone. I missed it all the sales. And then when I was going to go in, they'd shut the doors because they got overwhelmed. And then, yeah, I just haven't had a chance. Well, it doesn't. There's no right or wrong way, and that's with all lagers, man. Not just is that? I can't remember why I was putting that on. Was it just to show you that beer? I think it was just to show you that beer. That's for the ABA beer, the Australian International Brewery Awards. So let me get the story out of the way. That's an upcoming video that will be released in 2 weeks' time. And it's from the winners of last year's Australian International Brewery Awards. 4 of the winners, anyway, there's a lot of winners. I think it was best small brewery, best medium brewery, best... I don't know the other ones, to be honest. They all get together and they do a collab, get together, make a recipe, and they brew it for the next year's... They have a dinner for the awards night, like the Logies for beer. And the beer will be served there, right, the next year for the next... And so a couple of 2 weeks ago, I think it was something, I went to Mountain Goat Brewery, and there was the Moffat guys from Queensland, from Moffat Brewing. There was Ed from Dollar Bill in Ballarat. There was the Mountain Goat guys there. And there's one more. Oh, and the guys from Deeds were there, and we brewed, and me, and we brewed a beer. And this is the exact same beer, but I brewed it here. And but I can't release the recipe or video until after the awards night. And the awards night is Wednesday the 16th or 17th or something like that. Whatever it is, it's Thursday 17th, something like that. And the next day I can release the video and the recipe details and all about that stuff. So that's a bit exciting. And I get to go this year without having to fork out money for it, which is good. At the awards night, I've got to get some fancy clothes, buy some fancy duds, although I'm not buying fancy duds for one night. Okay. Just going to have to wing it. They might not let me in. Right. All right, so and how to lager beer with Nova Lager the right way throws me off that you can ferment a lager in like 10 days. Well, look, I'm going to be blunt here. There's no reason you shouldn't be fermenting any lager. But in 14 days, if you pitch enough yeast, and it's a 5-6% lager, there's no reason why it shouldn't be finished fermenting in 14 days. Any yeast. Nova Lager's faster. You can do it in a week. If you pitch the right amount of yeast and you ride that yeast and ride that ferment properly, there's no reason any lager shouldn't be finished fermenting in 14 days. Any beer. The lagering, though, with Nova Lager, well, there's a couple of reasons it's fast. There's one, it doesn't produce the sulfur. A lot of the lagering is to get rid of the sulfur smells from lager yeast, and the longer you leave it, the cleaner it gets. Well, Nova Lager doesn't produce it. All. If your yeast, Nova Lager yeast, is somehow producing sulfur, then you've done something wrong. You've cross-contaminated, or this just because it doesn't produce it. So that just cuts your lagering time down. Well, it nearly gets rid of it. The only reason you're probably lagering then is to clear the beer. Make it a crispy boy. So, how am I going to get a tax? Jesus, mate. But, YouTube pay's gone to like $200 a month. And what am I going to afford on that? So it's up to you. But that's exactly the same with any bloody lager, though. It's up to you when it tastes good, right? There's no... If someone says you must lager for a month or you must lager for 2 months is absolutely ridiculous. It's when that beer's tasting good, because it doesn't keep getting better. And it might be its best at 2 weeks. It might be its best at 4 weeks. It might be its best at 1 week. That's when it's best. More time doesn't mean better, ever, in any beer. Ugh, except for maybe like a big imperial stout. But, oh shit, move my microphone again. But all beer peaks, and it doesn't peak for very long, and then it drops off, right? And that's just a fact. I mean, most beer doesn't get any better after a year. And, they've got to be up to like barley wines. And even then, some people just are used to these old oxidized bottled barley wines and things that taste that. They love that old stink. And people get offended by that, but it's true. Um, and other people like them fresh, right? And there's no wrong or right. There's no wrong or right. I've told this story a million times on live brew days or on my cast. When I was doing the brewing science course, and they were talking to brewers, the head brewer at Orville and the head brewer at one of those other, famous European breweries that brew those big beers. And when they get visitors from Australia and America and that they come over and they try these Orville beers when they're fresh and they're going, oh, this isn't right. And then she goes, oh, she loves these apparently aged old beers that we drink over here 2 or 3 years old. They're old and they taste like cardboard. I think they do. They all start tasting the same, a lot of those Belgian big beers after, because they're just too old and they're not fresh and they've travelled too far. And the head brewer there goes, no, they like it when they're hoppy. But when they get visitors from Australia and America, they don't like it hoppy. They like it old, aged, and cardboardy. It's just a fact. So what I'm trying to say, a beer, there's no age or date or length or whatever. It's when it's ready for you, Beer rarely gets better after for a little while. Especially hoppy beers or whatever, all this stuff about hops dying down and all that. Just brew the beer right in the first place. You shouldn't be waiting for hop burn and all that. I don't even know what that is. Most people's hop burn that they get in their kegs isn't hop burn as they think. Well, it's hop particles in beer because they've scraped the bottom trying to empty the fermenter. They haven't done a big enough cold crash. And they're getting tiny hop particles that you can't see in the beer. And that's what you're tasting. That's that really stringent, bitter taste that you can get from hops. And then they go, oh, it cleared up after a week. And that's because it's all sunk down to the bottom of the keg by then. And they've drunk it. It's gone. Cheers. Oh, that's dead. I'm talking too much. I'm not drinking enough. That's the first beer for the day. All right, let's get this wine out of the way. Is it light enough? I guess it is. Here we go. You might have seen the video on my YouTube channel. I only brewed one batch of wine because I'm not much of a wine drinker. And if I am going to drink a wine, it's going to have to be a red. I don't know how white wine home brew kits would go, to be honest. I thought I'll get a red wine because I like red wine anyway. Well, like's a strong term. It's the only sort of wine I would drink is a red. And I just thought, yeah, it's built for homemade stuff because it's big and it's robust. Like stouts, it's hard to stuff up a stout at home because they can put up with a bit of oxidation and they can put up with all the stuff that happens when you're bottling at home. And I'll tell you a little story though. I took my dad. I'll start again. I'll tell you a little story. My dad's a bit of a wine head. He always has been. He always thought I was a bit of a bogan because I liked beer. But my grandfather loved beer. My dad in the middle, nah. But he drank a hell of a lot of wine when I was a kid, and I used to pinch his wine. And I'd fill up a drink bottle of wine on the way to school, and me mates, dads who drank spirits and that, they'd grab me a drink bottle of spirit, like a scotch or something, and we'd swap on the way to school. They'd be throwing up in roll call, and I'd be having fun. But anyways, I've been around wine a long time, and my dad's a real wine snob. I took him 2 bottles, and I don't know when it was. It was about 8 months ago, so it had been in the bottle about a year. And I drank one with him, and as soon as I gave it to him, he's going, and it's funny he said it. He sounds like me with people's home brew sometimes, or bottled home brew. It's going to be oxidized. It's going to be oxidized. It's going to be awful. You know, he was, you know. And I said, oh, I don't know, Dad. I haven't even tried it since I bottled it. You know, that's it. It's that there. So we opened it and I poured him a glass and I had a glass. And he goes, oh, it's not oxidized. Dad, I know what I'm doing a bit. I might not make wine, but I know how to bottle stuff. But I still, you know, it was my first one and wrestling with the corker and stuff. It's not the easiest thing in the world. And anyway, so we drank that bottle. He seemed to like it. And he gave me the other bottle to take home and said, put it away for, you know, another year or something. We'll drink it at your funeral. I think I said something like that. Anyway, it was one of those times I was up in Sydney. It must have been Christmas time or something because I was up there for a couple of weeks. And then he comes around after about a week. He goes, oh, I drank that other bottle. And I said, Dad, you were supposed to keep it. He goes, no, it's good. It was good. I drank it. I know, it must be. So that's from the old man who's a wine snob that reckons it's all right. I haven't had another bottle since then. So I've only had that glass with him. So I don't know. I opened this about 2 hours ago to breathe. Is that what they say? To air. Come to room temp. Although I don't know what room temp is in the garage at the moment. About -10. No, it's not that cold. But we'll have a go. And it's extremely sad about Grain and Grape. When I started going to Grain and Grape, half of the God, now I'm going to have to remember names. Brendan, that started Three Ravens Brewery, he was just a home brewer going there. Hendo, who now calls himself the Rockstar Brewer, and he had a brewery, Hop, what was it called? A little while, it went bust. Or he stopped it. Brew Cult. This was before he'd started Brew Cult too, so I knew Hendo from all that time. There's another one guy. There was other guys too. There was another famous brewery. Can't remember what the other one was. But anyway, all these guys I met through being going there. We're all home brewers going there. And they all started breweries and I didn't. G'day, little wolf. Anyway, let's pour one of these. A bit dark in here, isn't it? Looks good from this side with the light going through it. Better not put. I don't know how big this glass is. I had to ask the wife, do we have any red wine glasses? She yelled at me because she was getting dinner ready. What are you making me do this now for? I didn't think it'd be hard. I thought you'd know. I don't know what do you say about wine? Oh, smells all right. Put a bottle of red to your cheek. It shouldn't feel warm or cold. That's the right temp. Everything's cold in here at the moment. It's not too bad. It's probably, I can tell you that room temp at the moment. It reckons it's 17 degrees. I don't reckon it's 17 degrees. I don't think it's that warm in here. It's not that warm. It's cold. Yes. Can I turn the light up for a sec? Because I'll put this on a video, save me doing another one. Maybe two right now. The light actually making any difference? No difference at all. That's weird. Oh, there it is, red wine. Trying to get it in the light. It's not working. Try this. Nah, just looks like a red wine. It's a big glass. Like a claret. Oh, there's a beautiful bouquet of dark berries and Fruit. Did I get that right? Oh, hang on. I'll cut this for the video. What is it? Oh, it's been airing here for a few hours. No, that's not quite the same as air rating, but it'll be all right. I'll spit it out next to me in a minute. Oh, there's a beautiful bouquet of cigarette butts and old kebab. Dried hooker. Dried hooker. What's a dried hooker? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll stop just in case there's children listening. Oh, so a beautiful aroma of cigar box with oak and a hint of lavender. No, there's no lavender in this one. Now you'll never believe one of me tasting videos ever. I'll cut this up so it all looks perfect later. That's all right. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to have a guzzle like that, but that's not too bad. It's fruity. Not fruit Alexia, though. It is the Cab Sav. I actually don't remember what variety of Cab Sav it was supposed to be. I think they had an Australian one. I probably got the Australian one. It is. I don't know. I still can't see. I'll have to watch my game video. Let's turn the sound off. Still can't see. Oh, man, that's a good video. What am I doing? I did a lot of fancy stuff in this video. Talk up myself. Oh, it is a Cab Sav Australia. I reckon that's what I did. The Vineco Cab Sav Australia. I reckon that's the one. I have tried red wine with cola, surprisingly not. I have. I forget that there was a name for it. G'day, Niall. I don't reckon this is getting any better than it was a year ago. So I'd have a bottle maybe 6 months and then see how you go. Again, like these aren't professionally bottled or whatever, well, I don't know. I just did mine here in the garage. Keep just, trying it. I know the trouble is, I tried my last bottle and now it's the best ever. Maybe. Calamucha. Yeah, possibly. There's no point leaving things around. But during the ferment, the trouble with wine. You have to oxidize it, kind of, don't you? I mean, you add sodium metabisulfite or something, and while you're trying to decarb it, and I think that's to try and stop that, isn't it? But it's not perfect, And yeah, you're probably better off move as soon as it's cleared, move it on. As soon as it's cleared again, bottle it. Malacup Pilsner Malt. No, I haven't even heard of it. Sorry, brass ones. I don't know. I've never heard of them at all. That's the first time I've seen that name. Where are they from, brass ones? I'd rather port. I'm a more if I I don't mind a port. The wife's scared I'm going to go in and after I drink this red wine and make sweet love. Oh God, she'd kill me. I'm putting the cork in it. Put a cork in it. That's what they'll say. Oh yeah, I haven't tried that. I'm sorry. I haven't seen it. Oh, okay, there you go. I don't really over here. I don't. I don't hear from Kegland unless I ask. Most 99% of the time, it's got to be something pretty special for them to tell me about it. They don't need me anymore. They used me. They got their own video channel and a few other blokes that work for shops for them that do videos that I won't mention names. People think I work for them or something, but they're not even close. I think it might be time for another beer. That's okay. I think it was probably better last time. I don't know. I was going to say it's got veins, but all you can see is my dirty fingerprints all over it. Look, again, look, I'll say it again. Fresh is best. If you can get fresh McCulloch, it's probably going to be better than Wyman malt that's probably a year old and shipped from the other side of the world. Fresh is best. It doesn't matter. Like, you go to these Facebook groups and things, and people say, "Oh, I use grain that was 3 years old. It was perfectly fine." It's not perfectly fine. Your beer might have tasted okay, but if you had to make the same beer with a fresh malt, it would have been better. Unless you're doing something, you might be covering up all that malt with hops and other fresh dark malts and things like that. But fresh is just best. You don't age ingredients. It's like going to your kitchen and you know you make anything out of vegetables as fresh as best. It's just, you can't beat it. And that's with hops, grain. It doesn't matter. Water, yeast, everything. Fresh is best. Don't let anyone ever tell you that any different. Except for those weird sour brewers that like using stale hops on purpose. But that's a specialty thing. What if you leave out oat chips and cubes? Would it have actually? Oh, I think you'd need. Look, was it no? Were you the same one that's saying? Or was it someone else that said theirs was oxidized maybe from sitting too long? Oh no, that was Ollie. Um, I don't think you could leave them out totally unless you're like. I mean, maybe you do. I guess there's probably a lot of modern wines that I haven't tasted where I've heard people, on the radio, people describing them and that, where it sounds like, they're drinking them wines a lot fresher these days and not so aged, and that means less oaked. I mean, I always think it's probably good to throw a little bit in, but if you don't want any, it's worth a go. You could always up a batch or just do a batch, I guess. Although they're not that cheap, are they, the wine kits? They're not cheap. Well, this beer here, the Australian International Beer Awards Beer of the Year, collab of the year, is all Barrett Burston, except for the Dexter malt, which is Voyager. They did have some other carapels in there, but they changed it. Hit that thumb. Hit like. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Do you know there's something like, I only saw the stat the other day, like 78% or something, or 70% of my viewers aren't subscribed. I find that's crazy. It doesn't cost anything. If I just watch one video of someone that I enjoy, I subscribe. I'm not just saying that. I do. I don't know how many channels I'm subscribed to. I don't know why you wouldn't. I guess if you're watching on, an Xbox or something, and it's not easy to do. But on a computer, and click that bell thing too. You click the bell and then you turn it to. No, it's about 4 different choices these days. But it doesn't cost anything. I was telling a story the other day on my stream last Saturday, how I upset people. I don't know if you saw, I did the video at the zoo. Like I haven't been able to get work, and it's pretty hard for me to get work with the kids and some of my medical issues, and so I thought, what am I going to do? I'll go and volunteer at the zoo, and it'll look good on the resume and stuff like that. And so I've been volunteering at the zoo once a week or once a fortnight for a year now. I did have a couple of months off when I was crook with the hernia, but I've been there a year now. And so on Saturday I was just bored, and I was working at they have dinosaurs at the zoo on at the moment. And I had to get a new shirt because I've lost so much weight, all my shirts were swimming on me. So I got a new shirt, and the only ones I had in my size now were these old style, like full khaki shirt. You got to wear khaki pants. And so now I've got this button-up khaki shirt, and I felt like Steve Irwin. I didn't have a barb in me yet. Felt like Steve Irwin. So all day I was saying crikey, and then I thought I'll take a video and say crikey, it's fucking dinosaurs at the zoo. Anyway, it's a 14-second video. 14 seconds it goes for. And the amount of people that upset. I was getting messages, everyone hitting dislike. It's a brewing channel. What are you doing this for? It's 40. I didn't start as a brewing channel. My brewing channel, this started as a music channel in a drunken buffoon channel. And then it changed. Then it changed to a full music channel, and then it changed to a brewing channel. How you going, Parko? And anyway, the funny thing is, most videos you watch, and you look at your stats on the video sometimes, and it goes, most people only watch, 40% of a video. You're pretty lucky if you get, if a video's had, 5,000 views, most people only watch, the first 30%. And it doesn't seem to matter on the length. Like it can be a 1-minute video, like a short, and they'll still cut off at that time. It can be a 15-minute, and it'll still be around 30, 40%. It's a weird stat. And anyway, this is a 14-second video, and the dislikes were coming on it. Dislike. And the funny thing is, when people dislike a video, it's the same as liking it. For me, it doesn't make any difference to me. You still get views. What it's supposed to do is to stop them seeing as many of your videos, my videos. If you dislike my video, then you're probably, it's supposed to stop you seeing my videos as a suggestion more often. If you keep liking my videos, then you'll see my videos more as a suggestion, and it helps my channel out in the algorithms for that reason. Anyway, so all these dislikes were coming more than, and I'm going, Jesus Christ, And the funny thing was, I looked at the percentage of the video watched, and it was like 120%. I've never had a video or seen many videos where the watch rate is over 100%. You know what that means? That means for people to dislike it, it had to be that stack. That was the only one that the dislikes grew on that video because it wasn't brewing. And the watch thing went over 100%. That would be because they probably watched it once. Oh, that's crap. Watching it again, because it only goes for 14 seconds, to try and find that fucking dislike button. But that's the funniest. That's a truth. I can show you on the screen now. That's the funniest thing about it. You're in Ho Chi Minh. Is that a restaurant? Is that in Brisbane? Cream of something? No. Where's Ho Chi Minh? I've heard that name before. Is that out near Logan in Brisbane? I think that's a restaurant in Footscray. I don't even know. Where's that? Is that Saigon? Hang on, that's still not helping me. Is that a country? I'm not very worldly. Is that is Saigon a country? Oh no, now I'm showing my true smarts. I know. Is that like Singapore or something? Vietnam. Vietnam. There you go. There you go. Vietnam. So Ho Chi Minh's in Saigon, which is in Vietnam. Okay. That noise is the glycol's come on, but hopefully it's not chilling it because I'm trying to warm. Ah, no, it's just keeping the reservoir. This is a problem. This is a problem. I modified my glycol chiller so it can heat, which is good. So I don't have to have two temperature controllers. It's heating and cooling. The trouble is now at the end of the ferment, I want it just to heat. I don't want it to cool. And so normally, if my fermenter was in a fridge and it gets like past 10:20, I'll turn the cooling off, let it free rise up, and then I don't let it cool down again. Whatever it free rises up to, I turn the heater up so it keeps that. I usually ferment at, say, 19 degrees, and then I turn the cooling off and let it free rise up so it gets warm at the end by itself. And then I keep it at that temp so it doesn't drop temperature fast. And because in Melbourne, especially this time of year, it could drop down to 10, and I don't want the yeast dropping out early. So I turn off the cooling totally so it doesn't come on, so it's not fighting, and just leave the heater on at whatever it rests at. Well, I went to do it before with the I went, it looks like it's getting a bit sluggish, and I'd missed the 10:20. It was down to 10:17. I'll turn the cooling off. So I turned the glycol off, the machine off, and then went, oh, shit. I can't turn the glycol machine off because the glycol machine's controlling the heating. So that's a problem. Well, it's not a problem, but for the next 3 or 4 days, I'm keeping the glycol machine reservoir at like 2 degrees while I don't need it. Although I could turn it up, I guess. That's probably what you got to do, isn't it? Turn up the reservoir temperature to stop it cooling. Now, I'm just talking to myself and figuring out my own problems. You can flash your dong freely, can you? What are you doing over there? Have you got a new girlfriend? Or you're just on holidays? Or you're riding? Parko does if you've not subscribed to Parko's YouTube channel, he used to do a lot of brewing, but he's got off the booze, which is a good thing. And he's doing a lot of mountain biking and stuff. I'm not sure if he's still recording a lot of stuff or not, but he does have a YouTube channel. I'm in Point Cook. I can flash me dong here. Although, probably get cut off with a machete or something. I bought a machete to fit in with the locals, but I don't know what I've done with it. I think the kids must have stole it. It's funny, so they're going to ban machetes. I'm going to buy one. What do I do with it? All right, I need a beer. That wine's okay. I think it was better last year, but I don't. It's a bit hard to remember a year ago. I didn't really do a very good review for YouTube then, did I? The girls are good. For those that don't know, the little girl you used to see in my very early videos crawling around, and in my forced carb video crawling around where I ran over the keg with a reg over her toes with the keg, and that's why I had to zoom in. And anyway, she started high school this year. So, yeah, Jenna, who was the one that was in all my early videos, started high school. The other one's been only a couple of videos. So in this garage one, but that you'd have a hard time remembering the other one because it all got too chaotic with two. It was hard doing videos with two around, so that's why it just sort of kind of stopped. And plus, YouTube changed the rules too. YouTube changed the rules where you can't really have kids on your videos. It's a bit stupid. And not that, I didn't put them in for any reason. They'd just say g'day at the end or whatever. No worries, Parker. Are you taking footage over there? I guess you are. Are you riding over there? I know you're riding. No, we won't go. I keep forgetting I'm on YouTube now. I'm not on Twitch. That's talk for tomorrow night. I thought I'd get on here tonight and maybe make it semi-regular. I don't know about every week, but maybe we'll see how it goes. Maybe once a fortnight. Oh no, I was just testing a bottle that I brewed. I brewed the wine a couple of years ago, Parker. I hadn't tried it. Yeah, so because I know my stream on a Saturday night is not everyone's cup of tea since I play heavy metal and punk and mostly music more than beer. Anyone, if you ever have a question on a Saturday night, I'm there on Twitch and we do talk about beer. And we talk about beer a lot, but it ends up being mostly music. So I thought I might jump on here onto YouTube, which people are a bit more know me better for and a bit more comfortable with. Whenever I can on a Friday, and it won't be, as I said, it won't be every week. But I thought it might be just for an hour or two. I'm not going to stay here for hours. Maybe an hour and a half or something like that, depending what's happening. I need a beer. Oh, there's another question I got for you. The glycol machine's finally turned off. All right, so the stout video is probably going to have to wait a little bit because the next brewery series video is the Juicy Banger, which I had earlier. And then the next one after that's the AI Australian International Beer Awards beer. It was made from Deeds and Dollar Bill, and I don't know how Dollar Bill was involved. Ed was saying, because if anyone knows Dollar Bill, if you haven't had Dollar Bill, you're seriously missing out. They do. He does. I was going to say sours, but they're not really sours. They're barrel aged stuff, and he does these parlays. I've actually had these bottles sitting here for years, going, one day I'll show these on a video. And since that was before he won all the awards, and since then he's won best beer at the awards for a couple of years now. It's sensational stuff. If you like in Melbourne, in Sydney, if you like, what's his name? Toe? I can't remember his name. That's terrible. I met him many times. If you like, what are they called in Sydney? Wildflower in Sydney. You'll love Bill Ed from Dollar Bill Brewing. Seriously, Wildflower and Dollar Bill are the two breweries in Australia, if you like that. Barrel aged, it's all blended. That there would be no brewery series videos for any of those, and that's why I don't do these sort of blended beers at home, and especially videos, because people go, "Why don't you do these, fancy sours and things?" Because you can't without. I can do it here. It's not going to be the same as yours, and then you got to blend it. And these breweries might have 6, 7, 8 people sit down and do the blending and test it between them, and it's really hard for me to be able to do that for you at home, or it's impossible. It's impossible. So that's why I don't attempt to do those sort of beers, especially for brewery series videos anyway, because it's impossible for me to brew this beer at home. Because it's blended, and you have to have skills of years of experience in blending, and barrels and all sorts of things that we're still renting here. I can't set up a barrel. I know as soon as I set up a barrel, we'll be kicked out. The fears of renting. Anyway, what I was going to say, upcoming in probably 2 or 3 months' time by the time we get to it, there is another brewery series video coming, but I haven't decided on what beer to brew for it yet. I didn't know you could see me over there. Lucky I did me duds up. G'day, Mark. In Amsterdam. How you going? Thanks for dropping in. All right, so then one of the next ones is going to be from my good mate. Oh, you can see it. I don't really have to turn him around. My good mate, Kev. And it's another story from my channel. I hear a lot. And most of them don't get back to me, but Kev did. Because I couldn't even tell you how many people go, I started brewing from watching your channel or whatever your channel helped me when I was starting to brew. I've gone off and started my brewery and I'm going to start one. And then I say, remember me, send me beer, whatever. And then you're just fucking forgotten or swore. But Kev was a butcher. I won't go into too much details because he probably doesn't, I don't know if he wants it all aired. And he was brewing and watching my videos, and then wanted to change. And he jumped into from after watching my videos, learn how to brew. And he is now one of the brewers at Bells Beach, brewing in Torquay. And so he sent me a couple of beers to try to see. I said, oh, it's your turn for, you must want to do a brewery series video by now. He said, what do you want to brew? And I said, oh, geez, I don't know, mate. And so they sent me, this is their core. I don't know if the hazy AAA is always core. And there's actually there's one more in the fridge I forgot to bring out. There's a sour, raspberry sour. But we've got the Raglan Hazy, Endless Summer Lager, Hang 10 Hazy Triple IPA. Hell's Bells XPA, and the what's that? Addis Pale Ale. But they do have others. I know again they're a brewery that aren't, they don't have super distribution out of Melbourne. I don't think they are getting more and more around Melbourne now. But if you have a preference, which one of those you'd like me to do a brewery series video on, let me know. Or if you've been to their brewery and drank one of their beers, give us a shout out. And pretty sure Kev will help me out. I'll take it easy, South Park. Cheers, mate. And if you've seen the videos of me on Facebook with CJ Ramon from the Ramones and another guy, that might be Kev from Bells Beach Brewing. Me and him have some similar music tastes. I've run into him at a few gigs. Say that much. G'day, Soon Pedersen. If I've missed saying g'day to anyone, it hasn't been on purpose. I recognise that name soon, Penderson. I don't know if it's from Patreon or from something else. If you haven't joined my Patreon, it's much appreciated if you do. There's always a video, usually once a week. I haven't missed many weeks. Sometimes it's just like this. Sometimes it's, well, yeah, they've got all the full brew days. Haven't got the brew day of this beer yet, but they usually get videos months before the ones come out. Like that, the patrons have had that video I released today. I only finished editing it today, but probably for 2 months now, 3 months. Well, they get the very unpolished, uncut brew day version, and they don't get all the nice bits at the start and the nice bits at the end and all the editing and stuff. But that's what it's about. And as I said earlier, it's the only way I can survive doing this. And people ask why, and it's because YouTube's paying about $200 a month I make from 6-7 million views. It's not enough to even pay a week's rent. And so that's why I say without Patreon, without the guys on Patreon, yeah, the wife would be pretty angry. Would be pretty angry. Maybe I'll have one of these, or should I have? I'll wait and see. Oh, should I? I'm confused now. Didn't get any feedback. Give us some feedback. There's 2 kegs of Juicy Banger in that fridge. 2 kegs. I might have this. Oh, that's right. For those that haven't seen, I am doing a lot of distilling at the moment, mostly clear spirits, and that's my moonshine. That one's just like a clear spirit. The sticker thing from my daughter's cricket machine. That makes it look good. That's a white rum. That's my favourite one. I've been drinking the white rum. I don't do too many videos on it. I will start doing some more soon. I've videoed a ton of. I've got like hours and hours of footage of a lot of editing. How you going, Aaron? Yeah, I'm all right at the moment. Everything's in control. I got this hot gin, which I've been drinking on my stream. People have seen the last few weeks. When I was at Mountain Gate the other week, that I didn't realise they'd been doing some distilling as well. And that's really good. It's not too hoppy for people, because some hoppy, when you put hops in things that aren't meant to have hops, it's usually not very good. But this is a really nice gin. It's mostly gin. There's a touch of hops. I've really been enjoying it. I could drink that bottle straight, and I'm not really that much of a spirits drinker. That is really nice. I probably shouldn't drink out of the bottle like that, but it's not like it's going to, any germs are going to survive on it, and I'm the only one drinking it, unless you come over. So check that out. I'll take it easy, Vic. Thanks for dropping in. Thumb down a dinosaur video. Why not? I've got a clean glass. I did bring 2 clean glasses out. Keep forgetting the microphone's from near my hand. I don't know why I put it there. But I picked this beer up yesterday. I went for a walk. This is a true story, because I've got the Australian International Beer Awards fancy dinner to go to. I looked at the dress code and they went cocktail and business. Jesus Christ. All right. The docks are getting a polish. I could wear my GPs, but no, all right. The docks look a bit fancier. I'll wear the docks. I've got a pair of jeans that kind of don't look like jeans, because I don't have anything else. And I'll have to buy a new collared shirt because nothing fits me anymore. Everything's like swimming on me. And I looked for a blazer. Blazer. I can't even believe I'm saying that word. And they went, oh, Kmart's got one for $20. It's on special though, half price. That'll be all right. I looked at the photos. There's blokes walking down the catwalk in it. That looks all right. $20. It's half price. All right. So I walked down to Kmart yesterday. Had to walk. And Jesus Christ, I found these blazers. Oh, they looked awful. And I tried the the large on. And I've got long arms, right? Even in this shirt, you can see, right? Long arms. I get to the end of my arms. And so this blazer was like that. I went, oh no, well, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to go the size up. So I went the size up. And I've got like kind of wide shoulders. Doesn't look like it, but I've got kind of wide shoulders. And these blazers had like a tiny, like fucking shoulder pads, excuse my language. And because I had to go to the size up to match my arms, like the shoulders were a little bit wider, and the shoulder pads, to get past your shoulder, you know, they're like that. And I just went, this looks fucking ridiculous. There's no way in the world I'm buying this blazer to wear to this dinner for one night. I mean, no. But I found a shirt. Found a shirt at Kmart and I bought that instead. So I'm going with just a shirt and my jeans and my docs. And if they don't let me in, then I'll piss in the corner. No, they'll let me in. Well, if I could afford it, I would. But even like to buy a nice shirt, like, it's just ridiculous. I'm still losing weight, and one, I'll never wear it again. Like, you know, I don't get invited to things like that. Anyway, when I was up there, that's where the story was going. I was trying to think where the story was going. While I was up there, there's a little bottle shop in there called the Bottle-O. You know, it's just a tiny little bottle shop. It's Sanctuary Lakes. I don't have to walk up there because it's the only place Kmart is around here. And there's a little Bottle-O shop. And there's a couple of Indian guys, but they're into craft beers, and they usually have a fair range of beers. And during lockdown, when we were allowed to at least go to the shops, I'd buy a couple of beers there, but they're very expensive. Like, they have the deeds, you know, that sort of deeds, and they're $17 or $18 for a can like that. You know, it's too much money. You'd buy 4 cans and spend, you know, I don't even think about it, $60-$70 on 4 cans of beer. Absolutely ridiculous. And that's why that's one of the reasons I brewed those 6 NIPAs in a row. Those I did all those tests, so I was sick of paying nearly $20 a can. I would have it did. They were, because they'd go out past. Anyway, they looked ridiculous. Or the guy out of Talking Heads, but the Pointer Sisters is funnier. Anyway, so I went in there yesterday, and again, they have those expensive cans, but I found a couple that were only like $12 a can. And the one I had yesterday, I bought 2. What was the one I had yesterday? Can't remember what it was. Oh, it was a Hawker's. Hawker's did 3 IPAs using 3 different yeasts. They used a thiolized yeast, USO5, and Kvike. So there's no way in the world I was paying for a Kvike beer. And I didn't have enough money to get both. So I got the thiolized yeast one. That's a story for another day. I'm not a huge fan of the thiol yeast stuff because all the documentation you read about using these extra thiol yeasts and thiol boosting. If anyone doesn't know what thiols are, it's a very, very small part of hops, but they're very, very pungent part of hops. So you only need a tiny little bit, and it gives a lot of aroma. That's a short version, and you can get it from Citra. Does it naturally? Other hops need a yeast to help or something else to help. It's a part of the DNA. It's not the molecular structure that gets cut off. Anyway, the trouble with it is that you have to reduce your dry hop and everything of normal hops, T90 hops, pellet hops, because it'll overpower it, which seems counterproductive. You're using a thiol-releasing product, whether it be yeast or whatever, to release more aroma, but you're adding less T90 because that'll overpower it. Because if you add the normal amount of your normal hops, it'll overpower it. That doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't quite make sense. But as usual with all these modern products like Spectrum and Incognito and all the modern ones, they're mostly for production breweries where you can use these products and use less ingredients to make money. Where at home, these products are expensive to buy in little bits, harder to use at home. And so in the end at home, it ends up becoming more economical just to not bother with it and just use normal hops. I think the thiol stuff is really, really good for NIPAs the real gentle ones, not bitter, fruity, but like soft aromas and flavors, like the real soft ones, pillowy as people call them. And I'm not. I'd rather drink an IPA with a bunch of, that's bitter and aggressive, and so for me, they're a little bit of a waste of time and money and energy. But it was a tasty beer. If you can get it still, West Coast. Oh, hang on, I can show you. I can actually show you. I forgot I took some photos. I was going to put it on Instagram. I was going to do an Insta, and I forgot. It's that one there, Hawker's From Yeast to West, stylized yeast IPA, if you can still find it. And you got to watch how you take photos of beers, don't you? Here's what it looked like in the fridge. I thought, oh, it's nice light in the fridge. I'll take a photo in the fridge. And look, the beer looked brown. And as soon as I would have posted that, everyone would have went, it's oxidized. What are you doing? And then I pulled it out of the fridge and I didn't hold it up to the light. I just held it in the kitchen and took a photo. Didn't hold up a light behind it or anything. That's just in the kitchen and it looks totally different. That's a bit bright there. You can't really see it. But yeah, it's bright and yellow and beautiful looking. But that was a nice beer. I mean, again, it was a bit soft. But it was lucky it had a bit of a backbone, a bit of bitterness in it. Anyway. Do you know much about making alcoholic ginger beer on tap? Look, I haven't made a lot of it, but I've observed. I have in the past, back, 10, 15, 20 years ago, I used to brew a lot of ginger beer. I used to brew a lot of orange and vodka. I used to be able to buy kits for orange and vodka, believe it or not. Used to be able to buy kits for bourbon and cola, just like a Cooper's kit. They weren't very good. But if I was to do one these days, I was going to start with a seltzer and buy a very high quality ginger, extract, or ginger beer cordial, for want of a better term. And then, even then, now I'm doing my own spirits. I wouldn't even bother doing that, to be honest. I would be carbing up. I'd be using my neutral spirit or a bottle of vodka, a good, decent ginger beer extract, like a cordial. There's a place in Queensland that does. I'm not talking about the Bundaberg. That's pretty good too. There's another one in southeast Queensland that does really good extracts. I had them at Alta one year. They were using them in their hop tea, I think, and no, not a hop tea, they had a carbonated hopped ginger beer or something like that. Anyway, they were using these extracts that were just sensational, and I just think, because the price of ginger is crazy, and if you're wanting to replicate it, unless you're going to go the old school way of a ginger beer plant, which is good, but again, it's given, you might brew it one day and it's sensational, and do it exactly the same the next time and it won't be sensational because of the ginger's not right or something. So my wife and I love drinking the James Squire one. We used to have it when we were in Queensland on holidays with a bit of lime in it. And that's what I'd do. That's how they'd be doing it. Either a spirit at the end, if you actually wanted to ferment something, I'd do this. I'd do a plain seltzer with no flavoring and flavor it later. Because it doesn't matter what you're doing when you're adding flavor. Doing it in the fermenter, you never know what you're going to get at the end. But if you've got a product, whether it be carbonated water and vodka, or a carbonated alcoholic seltzer, which is just sugar and water, carbonated, fermented and carbonated. If you can add the flavoring at the end, you're going to always end up with a better product because you can adjust it. You know what I mean? You can. That's my opinion at the moment. Would not start with a can. I know there's a Kingsley's famous recipe, but for me, I've never had a nice ginger beer out of a can. I can always taste that. For some reason, they always, to me, taste like fake sugar. I don't know if they have it in it. I haven't looked into it. But all those years I brewed it, I've just got this haunted memory of what they taste like. And there's always that taste. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you add chili or boil extra ginger. It does help adding chili and extra ginger. But I'm fussy when it comes to things, And for me, that's the way. I don't want to, unless I go totally old school, ginger beer, plant, do it all that way, which is pretty hit and miss as it comes to carbonation and all that thing. And you've got to be able to have the fridge space to fridge it all. Yeah. I'd be going seltzer and ginger beer cordial or vodka, water, ginger beer cordial, carbonate. Because that's what they taste like. Those ginger beer things you're buying at the shops these days, as I said, the James Sky one or everyone's got them now. I think Matzo and all, they don't taste fermented ginger beer. They don't taste like that. Not to me. Anyway, this is a beer I bought up at Kmart yesterday. When I went to Kmart, I bought that Hawker's beer and I bought this one. And this is from Bright Brewery. I have never been blown away by Bright Brewery's beers, although I've only been to the brewery twice and I haven't been there for a few years now. I know they've swapped brewers a lot of times. But this one's, and they are up in hop country, where the hops are grown, just around the corner from Beechworth Brewery, Bridge Road Brewery, and the other guys who I met at A&HC, Bilsons. Anyway, this is northeast Victorian PA. So I'm hoping it's this year's hops. Brewed with 100% local hops, of course, because they grow them all there. And we need to organise a trip up there next hop season. I think I should do that, and we can get a bunch of people and go and stay there. Go to the hop festival at Beechworth, or maybe a couple of weeks before that, so we can actually see the hops as they're getting harvested. Crafted with 100% local hops, Eclipse and Enigma. Oh, Enigma's this year's HBA Enigma. Oh, I've talked about it on my stream last week. The hops that I got for this beer next to me was this year's 2024 Eclipse, 2024 Galaxy, 2024 Australian Cascade. The Eclipse, my God. I only had to put 15 grams in the whirlpool of this. It was sitting on the bench as I was doing the brew day, because I weighed out the 60-minute hop and the whirlpool hop at the same time, and that's all I could smell. And it was only 15 grams. It was filling the room. Anyway, so I'm getting carried away. It was so good. Anyway, it's a northeast Victorian IPA. Has flavour and aroma unique to the corner of the country. And it is true. I'm going to start on another story. If anyone had the Hop Nation beers, they did 3 Nelson Sauvin beers from New Zealand, of course, Nelson Sav, from 3 different farms. So the Nelson Sav from this farm, and Nelson Sav for this farm, Nelson Sav for this farm. It's exactly the same recipe. All beers tasted totally different. Unbelievable. The Terroir, I don't know how you pronounce it. Terroir, which means it's grown in somewhere, it's different because it's grown in a different area. And New Zealand's a tiny, tiny place, remember. But just because the hop was grown here and here, same variety of hop, they tasted completely different. So that's, earlier I was going on about which hops to use for your beer. use the freshest and best hops you can get, because not just the name of it. Just because this recipe says you have to use Citra, if you open up your packet of Citra and it doesn't smell right, don't use it. Get something that does smell right, especially dry hops and flavour hops. I can't, yeah. That's a story that not a lot of people like to hear when I tell them that, but for some reason. But you say if you can't get a fresh hop, don't use it. Fresh, 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 fresh. Use something else. It doesn't matter. Oh, but I'm trying to clone this beer. Yeah, but they wouldn't make that beer with an old stinky hop. They just wouldn't use it. If they do, then, they probably won't last as long as a brewery. All right. Let's have a pour of this. They might be a little bit cloudy. As I said, I bought them at Kmart yesterday and then walked home with them in my bag. Try and keep the slug out of it. It's a reason I don't like cans, because they get that slug of yeast in the bottom. I don't want that in my beer. Well, it's not as strong as I would have hoped. It's quite tasty though. It's got that green hop taste, so I reckon they might have used hop flowers, does it say? 100% local hops. It doesn't say. Kind of tastes like not pellets. It's not as I was expecting a big punchy IPA, but it's not. But it's got that. Oh, hang on, the bitterness is coming through now. I'd have to let it warm up or something. Yeah, it's a very fresh hop taste. It's hard to explain. Because the bitterness is there on the tongue. It's quite nice. It's very different. Reckon that's that eclipse. It's kind of. I'm not that good at describing beers. Mandarin, fruity, floral. But yeah, there's this kind of lantana, really freshness to it. It's got to be fresh hops or new hops. There's a real Australian bush eucalyptus, not eucalyptus, but that minty thing. Mint? I don't know. All right, so I've seen you have the TV review. Have you? I've seen you the TV for distilling. Have you tried a beer style without hops? Oh, for distilling, purely for distilling, I haven't made a beer without hops. No. Oh, you don't mean like adding spices instead? I have made a wash for distilling that's grain and sugar. I did a half grain, half sugar with no hops. That was only for distilling. Is that what you mean? Oh, take it easy, little wolf. You have a good weekend too. Such a different. The Australian hops are so different. I think they're close to New Zealand hops, but they're still different. I'm starting to like them. It took me a long time to come around to a lot of the New Zealand hops, you know, and then probably for the last 12 months, I've been a crap ton of beers. Well, ever since Cold IPA kind of come out, which I haven't done videos for, which I have done videos for, which I haven't released. Oh, I'll just punch the microphone again because I'd upset people. Because Cold IPAs was a fucking crock. Nothing but marketing, but I love that style. I always have. New Zealand IPA, New Zealand lagers, blah, blah, blah. And now New Zealand lagers become a thing around the world, but it's not what I know as a New Zealand lager is. Anyway, it's a long story. I've been brewing those sort of beers for a couple of years and haven't really done any videos about it. I have for Patreon. They've had Smelly Finger at the Village Twin, but I just haven't put them on my channel. You got to be in the mood for a war. When I know I'm going to post something that people aren't going to like, it's like, I got to be in the mood for it. No sugar distilling, just grain. No, I haven't done any just grain. No. The reason for that is that I've been just after clear spirits at the moment. I haven't wanted to brew anything else, ferment anything else, distill anything else is what I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm not really that interested in bourbon and scotch. I just don't drink much of it. And if I do, I like the top shelf stuff. It has to be, I drank enough cheap shit bourbon and scotch when I was a kid. Bond 7 and Jim Beam White. Way too much of it. So I'm just not, I don't drink it. I was drinking Maker's Mark in Queensland, a couple of months ago. But it's rare. I've just been brewing white spirits. I do like rum and tequila. Rum and tequila are my favourite spirits, right? And so they're really hard to brew at home well, especially tequila, which is my favourite. But rum, I have got some molasses here. I'm going to do one batch of rum anyway and see how it goes. I've got some molasses there. But again, I'll be mixing that with sugar. Won't be pure molasses. I do have some spirits up there I've aged on American oak. It's pure, a clear spirit, which has been aged on charred American oak, which is probably over oaked now, but I can water it down. I can mix it down and add flavouring. It's a bit hard to see in this lighting, but it is nice and dark at the moment. Nice colour. And get the lid off. That's at 44%. That's actually tasting quite nice. That's good. What I was going to do was add a little bit of, I don't even know if I need to. That's tasting pretty good just like that. I was going to add a little bit of one of the essences, just a touch, just to give it something. But I don't know if I need to. That's drinking pretty well like that. Another taste of that. Excuse my sticking my finger in it. That was put in there on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve last year. Can't really see it there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Christmas Eve last year, that was put in there. And you're only supposed to put in 1 cube into, 3 gallons or something, 2-3 gallons, I said. And that's only a litre, or maybe 1 gallon, they said. That's only just over a litre, and it's been in there for the, you know, 4 or 5 months, 4 months. That's tasting good. No, look, I don't drink. I like the yellow tequila only, and I don't buy bottles of it because I can't afford it. I only have it when I go out for Mexican. But I just don't think it's like it's not beer. Beer I can make and it's ready in a couple of weeks. Spirits, you know, I haven't got 8 years to age a Scotch or, you know. Mine at home, I don't think will ever match up to, you know, to the high shelves, you know, Maker's Marks, and they're not even the high shelf, but they're the, you know, about where I drink bourbon and about and the tequilas. Just don't think I'll ever make that at home. Not here in this rental where I can't age stuff and I can't, you know. And it also comes down to money too. I don't have money. That's a, that's a rum. That's from an Essence, that one. They all smell like, as soon as you open the bottle, they smell like, aniseed. But that dissipates. But there must be aniseed in a lot of these Essence recipes. It doesn't matter what brand you use. I haven't tried this one for a while. This was one of the gold ones. It was supposed to be like Bundy in a little plastic bottle. None of them taste like Bundy. This tastes more like Bundy Red, which I didn't mind. I liked Bundy Red. But I've got a ton of spirit over there, ton of clear spirit that I've got to filter. Or actually, I'll probably distill it again. I've got, I don't know, about 3 or 4 litres over here. Plus, I've got way more spirits than I'll ever drink. Yeah, that is why gin is, you know, and those sort of, yeah, stuff like gin. Exactly. Well, you know, most places in Australia, most gin distillers don't even, they buy a spirit. They buy a spirit and they just run it through a still. It's already, I haven't been to any gin distilleries yet. Not that I've been to many, but, you know, they've been getting very famous over the last 10 years in Victoria. They're fucking everywhere. But all of them have shipped in the base spirit. They all ship in the base, and then they still distill it, you know, through their big columns and all that sort of stuff. But they don't brew the base. They buy or bring it in big 44-gallon drums and flavour it. And if people didn't know, I don't know. Don't be scared of mushroom. Doesn't need a lot of age. Char your own iron bark if you like Bundy Red. What are these things? Oh, shit. I just pressed something and asked me to sign into YouTube. I thought I'd already be signed into YouTube since I'm streaming there. I don't know what it does. Gmail.com. I really don't drink much spirits. I've been drinking. Yes, I do. You can probably see me typing it, can you? Someone smart could. Well, not smart. Now, someone with the eye could have just worked out my password then. Oops. No, that's the wrong one. That wasn't the right password, apparently. Oh, caps lock's on. There you go. I think that's it. Oh, now I've got to sign in with my phone too. I'm a bit sick of this shit. And then it doesn't recognise your fingerprint. You go, bloody hell. My finger. There we go. You're signed in. Not now.
Switch to Chrome to protect yourself from malware.
Now it's giving me an ad in the chat. Why is it giving me an ad in the chat? What is going on here? That was a complete failure. Now I've got a whole... All I wanted to do was see what that did. Oh, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, that's what most of the distillers do. Yeah, they bring in. Although I don't know if they get in. I'm not sure the ones I know get in. I haven't looked for a long time. All I ask is, yeah, you bring it in. You say, yeah. Be pretty dangerous moving around 44-gallon drums at 96.5%, but they probably do. I don't know. Have you got a good brew story as to an error you have made? Not really. Yeah, the best errors I make are usually silly ones, and I never ever have the bloody camera on. Otherwise, they'd make it in the video. I'm not ashamed of stuff like that, but it's usually stuff like forgetting a hop vessel's pressurized and copying a face full of hops or something like that. I've been pretty lucky. I shouldn't say that, but I have. One time I froze a fermenter, whole fermenter, but I mean, the beer turned out fine because it was crystal clear. It took me about 4 days to defrost it. Or even, I can't remember. It took a long time to defrost a full fermenter of beer. But I've defrosted it, whacked it in the keg. It was clear as a bell, clearest beer I've ever made out of the fermenter. I guess. But it's still not that good, really. The Juicy Banger video, which is my next in the Brewery series, which should be out within a week. Brewing this beer for the Brewery series video. It had been my first brew since on my stay in hospital and months in hospital. I haven't been able to do anything or lift anything. It had been about 3 months since I brewed, or 2.5 months or something like that. And I was a little bit nervous. One, because I hadn't brewed in a while, which is silly. I've been brewing for 35 years. But one, it was one of the beers that I really, really enjoy. And from a mate's brewery. So, I was sort of nervous about getting the beer right. And I totally stuffed up the recipe. And the recipe was right. I totally stuffed up the brew day. I had probably, I can't remember what it was, but it was probably around 30, 40 grams of hops that had to go in the whirlpool, and about 10 grams of hops that had to go, in at 5 minutes before the end of the boil. I totally stuffed up, and I put a whole bunch of hops into the boil, put them in the wrong way around. And I also forgot the Werf lock and the yeast nutrient. Just about anything you could do wrong from the boil, I did wrong. The hops went in at the wrong time. No yeast nutrient, none of the other stuff you put in. But I fermented it out. It was a little bit under in numbers, a couple of points. And I fermented it out. And so then again, I got to brew this again. I got to do it. And that's right. And because I stuffed up the hops, I stopped videoing. So I couldn't even pretend in the video that I got the recipe right, like, because I didn't have the video footage. I stopped. Whenever something goes wrong like that, the video is sort of second. You stop. You move the camera out of the way because I've usually got a camera over here hanging over everything, and you're tripping over things. And so if something goes wrong majorly, it's like, oh, the camera gets pushed out of the way and sort out the problem. And so next week I had to brew the same beer again, and I got it right. But the thing is, both beers are sensational, and there really isn't that much difference between them. There's two in there in the fridge there now, and I kind of like the one where I threw a lot of hops into the boil, and you forget these days that I think I've told this story on my stream too, that because so many people are not putting in boil hops, they're not even putting in 60-minute hops, and they're just putting everything in a whirlpool, and they're doing cool whirlpools too. Again, all these recipes, the Juicy Banger, the one from all the award-winning breweries in the country, no cold whirlpool, right? Hot whirlpool or the recipe won't work. No dropping 80s to C for the whirlpool. That's crazy. Unless you're doing a non-bitter NIPA. And you just forget how good putting hops in the boil makes a beer taste. You can't get the same taste from a whirlpool. Put hops in your boil. Please. Give me bitterness or give me death. Put hops in your boil and remember what beers are supposed to taste like. So that was a good mistake. What I'm saying is the first beer is great. Might get one in a second. If I can finish this, I'm going to go pour one of those. G'day, Tommy. 7 grams. Alcohol is 7 calories per gram and petrol is 9 calories. Oh, yeah. Other errors. I've done the one error that everybody, I think, has done at some stage where I was brewing a beer and it was actually one of my amber ales or something like that. It was an English sort of kind of style beer. And I was using SO4. And it was in that fridge there. And I think I'm not 100% sure what happened, but I think what must have happened is the temperature probe fell out of the fridge as it was fermenting. And being winter in Melbourne, of course, the fridge was trying to heat up the beer because it was thinking it was really cold. And I came down and, a lot of the times, especially in those old days before recipes got so bloody, for some reason, got so complicated, you'd put the yeast in, and as long as you knew, you'd come back and check it. Oh, it's bubbling. You wouldn't have a look at it again for another couple of days. You don't even bother. But I came and had a look, and it was like, I don't think it was the next day, but it must have been the day after, like 2 days after I'd put the yeast in. And I went, oh, it's not bubbling. Oh, I wonder if there's something wrong. And I'm looking at it, and Jesus, what's going on here? And it didn't look like there had been a krausen or anything. I don't know how it didn't. But I was going to start stuffing around. And, of course, before I did, I took a reading, and it was done. And I went, how the hell did that happen? And it was SO4. SO4 goes off like a rocket. It's known for stalling, which it does stall. But if it gets a little bit warm, it goes off like a rocket. And that thing had green apple coming out of that flavour like you would never believe. And there was no rescuing it. There's no, leave it on the yeast for a while. It'll clean up. No, there's none of that. I left it there for a while, and then I kegged some and I bottled some. And that green apple just never left it. Okay. Acetaldehyde. I can't say it. You know what I mean. That word, the long one that starts with A. Too much red wine. Yeah, and SO4 is such a, those English yeasts, they're pricks of things. You really got to ride them. Like green apple. But yeah, like it didn't taste like acetone, but it was never going away. Yeah, it's just it happens. But as much as I had that beer around, and there's some days you taste it and go, "Oh, it's getting better," and then the next day you taste it and go, "Oh, fucking no, it isn't. No, it isn't." And I tried and had bottles hanging around, and it didn't get in. It might have got fractionally better, but nowhere near where. I haven't had the tip many. That was what I ended up tipping. Yeah, I haven't had huge mistakes. Oh, been mistakes on brew days where I was brewing. G'day, John, in Poland. There was one time we were brewing at JMO's. When I first moved here, I already learned, I'd been brewing for a very, very long time already 20 years or something. Over 20 years, actually, before I moved here. And then I moved here and I was back on kits. It was just easier. Back on kits. And I didn't have time. We had a new baby. I was a stay-at-home dad. It was just, and I was doing my live stream from my bedroom in there. It was about 12 years ago. And next minute, there's a knock on the door. One of the guys in the chat, at first he chatted in the chat. He goes, "Where are you?" And I go, "Well, yeah, I'm in Point Cook." No one knew where it was back then. He goes, "Oh, no, I'm in Point Cook. What's your address?" I went, "Oh, I'm at blah, blah, blah." And next minute, he's knocking on the door. It's this guy. JMO, he ended up being a really good bloke, but he was totally opposite to me, mate. I think too much and I, what is it? Procrastinate too much for a year before I do something. And he just sort of come around after he did that night, and then I chatted to him again. The next minute he was around. All right, come on. He goes himself. I'm making a 3-vessel system. I don't know what I'm doing, and you're helping me. We're going to the hardware store. They took me to the hardware store. We bought all these parts and made up his system. He already had some made. And then he goes, "Oh, you're making one too." So I made up, all right. Bought all the parts and we made it up. See, I never would have done that. Would have taken me years. I already had kegs and things and everywhere. And anyway, we end up having every second Saturday or every third Saturday or something, we have double brew days. I'd do my live stream on a Friday night like this, and I'd stay up to 2, 3 o'clock, like drinking a lot more than I'm drinking now. And then he'd come knocking on the door at 8 o'clock in the morning, wake me up. We'd go pick up our grain from Grain and Grape, and we'd go around to his house, and we'd do a double brew day. Jesus Christ, I'm drinking. I don't know how we got through some of those double brew days, to be honest. One time I lost me dial for the Mentor halfway home. I don't even know how we found it. Anyway, we were brewing there one day, and we were using really basic equipment. I've still got, I can't get it out now. It's behind there. My fermenter's in front of it. CPVC, mash tun manifolds, just an Esky over there. Oh, I'm going to do another brew in that old Esky. But now it's got a copper manifold in it. But back then it had a PVC manifold in it. And we were using brass. In Australia, brass didn't have lead then. And there's so little it didn't matter anyway. And all our water pipes were a little brass tap on the front of the mash tun. And we must have put it on the wrong way. Well, I don't know if there was the wrong way. But it broke during the mash. And it broke the ball valve was on the side of the handle. So the next minute, the mash tun's just pouring out hot wort. Somewhere I've got it. I've got the video here somewhere. Well, it's in one of my videos, but a really old video, and video it's in. And so the first thing you do is go to put your thumb over it. But, you know, it's 76 degree. I can't remember if mash out or mash or whatever. You know, 70-degree wort, and you're trying to put your thumb over it, and you go, and you can't do that. And then the next minute you're using wort, and you're throwing buckets under it. And I guess that was a mistake. I left a spunding valve off a recent Jesus and went away for a few days, come home to a 3. Jesus. Oh, no. Nothing worse than having to get rid of an IPA for an apple or off flavours. You know, because you spent all that money on hops and. No, it is cold. It's not. No, it is cold. It's not as cold in this garage as it is out there, but yes, it's cold. I'm not sure about that beer. It's okay. It needs more. It's like it's getting its bitterness late. It needs more bitterness at the 60-minute. Just needs a little bit. There's a real bitterness there, but it tastes like it's from hop matter, but I don't think that would be the problem. There's a bitterness there, but it's sort of sitting in the wrong spot of the beer, if that makes sense. It doesn't. Oh, g'day, Lemo. Well, yeah, use SO4, but as soon as it's one of the main yeast, I do it for every yeast, but it's every time I've had, and it was double. It was every brewery that I've got one of their brewery series videos that uses SO4 have made sure to tell me, even though I always do it anyway, to bump the temperature let it go when it gets to 1020, somewhere between 1025, 1025 if you can, and 1020. Make sure you let it heat up or you push the temps up. Otherwise, that's where it can stall. Oh, just having a chat, Lamo. Didn't brew or anything today. Got a beer fermenting next to me, but just having a beer, having a chat. I was taste testing the red wine from 2 years ago. Yeah. But I didn't know what to say. Smells like accountants and stale cigarettes and corridors. The beer's better. It tastes all right. Actually, it's all right. I'm taking the piss out of it. It's not too bad. Not undrinkable. There was something that made me of this bottle, which makes me want to open another bottle, but not tonight. Yeah. When I took the cork out, when I took the foil off the top of the bottle, and you can kind of see it there. It was like, I know there's a hole there from the bottle opener, but it was like there was somehow the wine had bubbled out. Just the tiniest bubble. You see how it's red on top there? I don't know. Oh, I just broke the fucking cork. These corks are shit. They really are shit. I don't know where I put the bottle opener. Oh, I took it inside. I'm not going to be opening it. It's not like the, the whole cork's red like the wines. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. They've been stored on their side. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to try another bottle before I make my mind up. The brew shop here in New Zealand are doing a brew day for May the 4th. Be with you. Are you brewing a special beer tomorrow? No, I'm not. And maybe I'm being boring, but no, I'm not. Our brew day, our brew shop is shutting down, so everyone's sad. But we don't have a special brew day here tomorrow, as far as I know. I think someone in America said they have one tomorrow, but I haven't heard of anything being done here. I think they said they have. I don't know. But no. I've got a really busy couple of weeks coming up, so yeah. And tomorrow I've actually got I've got to go to a 50th birthday. It was not hopefully. Oh, I meant to say, is John here? Or Trevor's not here, is he? No, he's not. I'll be a bit late to my stream tomorrow, probably an hour late. Your local brew shop stopped selling. Why doesn't it check? Stop selling beer? Oh, really? Yeah, I wanted to tell Trev because Trev's there early, and to tell because Drunk Fucks wasn't there last week, so he'll probably be there early this week. But I'm going to be late, so I just need someone to, if they can, to drop into the Twitch stream, at 8:00, 8:30, and just tell Drunk Fucks that I am going to be on. I'm just going to be a bit late. Oh, Cheeky Peak, yeah. Yeah, that's. I thought that was a bit strange. Because, yeah. I thought Cheeky Peak had a lot of good ideas, but they seemed very rushed in their brewing equipment, and sometimes the ideas weren't very good. But it's great to have those ideas, but I think sometimes they rushed ideas out to the market. And I thought, I can't last doing this stuff. And then they did the opposite, though. They got rid of the ingredients and kept the gear. So hopefully they know what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah, I got a 50th tomorrow, then my stream. It's also free comic book day. I was going to take my daughters to the city to the comic shop, but I don't think I'll be able to. And there's also Jedi Juice Day at Hop Nation, which I don't think I'll go to. The new Moondog Brewery's opened up in Footscray finally. The 3-story place in the old Franco Cozzo building with a bucking bull and all that sort of thing in it, which I really want to go and check out, but I think that's going to have to wait as well. How you going, Crozzo? Thanks, mate. I've still got my Robo Brew Gen 1 over there. And Gen 2, actually. I don't often buy Barrett Burston. They had a bad name when I started brewing years ago, but so did but not as bad as what's the other one? Joe White. Joe White had a really bad name because and it did. Every time you bought Joe White, you got sticks and stones in your bags. Barrett Burston wasn't much better. But then these days, yeah, a lot of the breweries are using Barrett Burston. And this beer here next to me that's fermenting, right here is just about all Barrett Burston malt, except for the Dexter malt that's in it. It's mostly Barrett Burston malt. But it's not something I buy, mostly. Although there's no... Yeah, I just get whatever's fresh and cheapest at the time. Usually Gladfield or I've been using a lot of Voyager lately. This Voyager's been extremely cheap for what it is. But yeah. These days I don't have anything against Barrett Burson. That's an old school thing. Compass is good. Yep. All the Voyager stuff's good. Bock I haven't made. No, I had a friend that I used to swap beers with a lot, and he made a crap load of box. So I didn't make box. It was one of those things, you know, when you got to make it's always brew and box and stuff like that. I didn't have to. I did all the hoppy stuff. He did all the other stuff. He loved a good bock. Loved a good fock too, but that's another story. I think I finished all the stories, didn't I? Sometimes I get halfway through stories and get sidetracked. Oh, that's what I was going to try. I was going to try the Mistake beer. The Mistake. Not that that's going to help you. Just see my ass, fat ass in the street. You're not going to see anything here. Curious Craft is Curious Craft. There's two kegs in here, both of the Juicy Banger, but one's the Mistake one and one's the good one. But I'm going to have to turn off pretty soon. But we'll have a taste of that. This is the Juicy Banger beer. Yeah, that's more of the colour it looks like, because as soon as I put it on the other camera, it's going to look red. It's nice and weird, not what it looks like it. Over here, it's going to look dark. Booming with aroma. It's awesome. No, I haven't made a gluten-free beer, no. I've had friends that have... I don't even remember who they were. Just bad. That have changed, you know, through problems or whatever. People have tried to say I should, but when I had Crohn's disease, I said, "Oh, you should go gluten free." It's got nothing to do with it. And they got diabetes, and everyone, as soon as I say that I can't have carbs and I can't eat bread, everyone goes, "Oh, I've got gluten free." It's got nothing to do with gluten. But yeah, no, I haven't. I've read about it, I've studied it, but I haven't. I've never brewed one. And the Australian company, Two Bays, is it? Is it Two Bays? In Melbourne, just won best gluten-free beer in the world. The International Beer Awards. Just this week, I think it was. Actually, I was just judge. I haven't done the video for it yet. I don't know if I will. I was just judge in the Crushies, which is a competition for artwork, international competition for brewery artwork. And they asked me to be a judge, and I was a judge on it. And the results only come out 2 weeks ago, but they didn't really make a big thing of it. I don't know why. I tell you what, for the last 12 months, I've got that many emails going, "Oh, remember, you got to do this, and you got to do that, and you got to do this, and you got to do that." And all of a sudden, the awards are on. I didn't hear a thing. The one I voted for in my category, which was the best beer mascot or something like that, won. So I was happy. Made a great black IPA a month ago, Galaxy Citra Mosaic hops using Golden Promise caramel and roasted barley. It sounds interesting. Wasn't too roasty with the roasted barley. Oh, they see my black IPA was super roasty. Mine was more like a hoppy stout, but that was because there wasn't a black IPA style when I made mine. Mine exactly. Yeah, it was exactly that, a hoppy stout, but it was pretty fucking good though. All right, I think I'm gonna have to call it a day for tonight. You don't brew, Len? Yeah. What are you brewing? How's your Great Northern going? You got it down yet? Yeah, see you tomorrow night. Yeah, I've got to go to a. Well, it's really for the wife. It's my mates. Bryce, who used to play drums in XXX and a few of my old bands. He used to play in Water as well in my old bands. He was my best drummer in Victoria when I moved here. Played with him in bands for years. His wife's sister's 50th is tomorrow. Unfortunately, him and his wife have divorced. I haven't seen them since they've divorced. And the only reason I said yes to the party is because I thought he was going to be there, and then now I'm thinking he might not be there. I might have to message him on the sly because the wife's going because wife invited them to, long story, to her 40th. And so now they've invited her to her 50th, you know. And I'm only going to, we'll see. Yeah, my distilling is going crazy. I've got so much spirits, I don't know what to do with them. Over here, it's best beer you've ever made with 3-year-old leftover Joe White pale malt. I tell you what, if you can make your best beer at a 3-year-old Joe White malt, far out. The only way is up. You wait till you brew your next one with some fresh ingredients. That's the best comment ever. I should screen cap that comment, Crosso. Three-year-old Joe White pale malt. Jesus. They've got the cheapest malt in the country, which isn't like doesn't mean you can't brew a good beer out of it. At 3 years old, holy shit. That's old, man. What beer did you make out of it? I've got stuff that I've got to redistill and just out of the last batch. I don't even have to. There's just jars of it. I'm not going to bother. There's jars and jars of it. Have you seen? I only my patrons are sent. They're all over there. I've got about 4 litres of, 60, 70% stuff I'm going to put through the distiller again. Plus, I've got just booze everywhere. I don't know if you were here before, Lemo. That's me. My favourite moonshine one. My bottles. I got my own label. Look, okay, it's a bit hard to see. Slug. My favourite white rum hasn't got a label. I got shit everywhere at the moment. Where did I put that other one? Yeah, this is one. I'll taste another one of these. That's hilarious. More spirits in church. I remember that one. I haven't tasted this in a while, and it's hit its straps. If that's it, now's the time to take that ball out. Besides I think I put something on my hands before I come out here. That's good. It needs a bit of glycerin or something just to settle it down. But that's just got just the right American oak in it. That's really good. That's what I reckon I'll do. I reckon I'll filter that, and I'll add some, glycerin or something just to smooth it out a bit. Oh, that stuff does. It turns your slug into. It makes your slug do things it doesn't want to do. You threw Galaxy and Eldorado at it. That's why. Cover it up with cops. All right, take it easy. I think that's it. I told the wife I'd only be an hour and a half. Tomorrow night's my big night. I'll get in trouble. So as I said, I'll try and make a thing of this. I don't know what it's going to be it's probably not going to be every week, but once a fortnight or whatever, once a month, whatever it turns into. Thanks everyone for watching. Take it easy. Thanks, Crozzo. You're a legend, mate. You're here. That makes you a legend. Otherwise, I'd be sitting here by myself. No, mate. Thanks, Tommy. Cheers, Ollie. And everyone else that's been lurking and watching, take it easy, Lemo. Paul. Whoever else. I can't scroll back much since I changed it. Oh, I didn't see Dr. I can't scroll back. Not let me scroll. There's a Dr. Jeebus or something. I only just caught it. Take it easy, Lemo. So take it easy, Mark. Come over. Friday night. Piss up. Take it easy, Anders. Thanks for watching, everyone. And everyone's got the lag. I'm saying goodbye to you after you said goodbye after I've already turned off. That's what lag's all about. Oh, there he is, Dr. Jeebus. He's there. Sorry, I didn't see your message before. I scrolled up and went, oh, I hadn't seen that before. Yeah, see you on Twitch tomorrow. Go and grab another rice lager and make sure you do a cereal mash. Or don't, by float. Or instant. But take it easy, Paul. I went to school with the Barons. I went to school with what was his name? Justin Barons. Actually, he still lives up the coast. Oh, something playing with the microphone again. Because I ran into him at King Cumber Pub last time I was up there. He used to live around the corner from me. Actually, in your minor. I'll get me chat worked out next time, so when I'm looking at the chat, I'm looking here and not over here. Well, there you go. You never know, though. I just found out all my Aboriginal family, a couple of years ago now, but my family grew by about 100 tribes. No, one mob and good 60, 70 people. You never know. I'm out of the woodwork. You get older. He was a guy with a single mum. Sad story. But take it easy now. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Much appreciated. I do got to go. Peace, love, and nippy beans. Cheers. You will like this recipe, I think, the juicy bang. I like it. Probably not. If you're going to drink a, near 6% hoppy Pilsner, it might as well be in winter. Cheers. And as I said before, if any of you see or think of a Bells Beach Brewing beer that you want me to do, excuse me, as the Brewery Series video for Bells Beach Brewing. Send it in a self-addressed stamped envelope to care of P.O. Box, Channel 9, Brisbane, Melbourne. Point Cook. Take it easy. I'm starting to lose the plot. Too much red wine. Fruity, cedar, cigar box, grandmother's shoes. Ah, mother-in-law's flange. Octopus vagina. But there's something else there. Grandfather scrotum. All right, it's time to go. All right. I'm just going to get myself into trouble. Take it easy. Where do I stop? Stop. This you will not be able to reconnect. Your stream will stop and you will be no longer live. Yes. Take it easy. Watch out for the cornflakes in that box. I know.